Room with Dr. D here, where we have authentic conversations here. We have relatable conversations with our guests, and we have those authentic conversations because here on the Guest Room with Dr. D, authenticity is truly our identity. We have on our guest today is Mr. Samuel Titus Gonzalez. He has a story to share with you all and also to bring awareness to our community and to our guests. And so here on the Guest Room, we want to invite you all to remember to subscribe, like, share, and comment. But most of all, we want you to tune in and hear our guest, Mr. Gonzalez, known as Mr. G. Mr. G, thank you so much for tuning in and coming on in.
How you doing? What's up, girl? What's up, girl? All right.
We have fun here on this show, y'all.
And every time we get on the phone, you're like, stop, you're too loud.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't help it.
Loud. But anyway, but thank you so much for just obliging the guest room. So I want you to be able to just, first of all, just dive in and just tell our guest who you are and what is Mr. G? What is he up to? Tell our guests,
Lord. There's okay, so Mr. G from Jonesboro High School. I'm also a pastor for the deaf ministry at Woodstock Baptist Church. And I'm just a guy that just wants to help kids and serve kids any way I can. At the same time, serve teachers, serve principals, and do what I can at Clayton County Public Schools. Love my job.
So aside from the school district, you said you're serving the kids. Right. And you have a story because you and I have talked many moons.
Yes.
And we talk about it. And you do for the deaf, you said, right?
Deaf ministry, yeah.
The deaf ministry.
It's called Deaf Connect at First Woodstock Baptist Church.
Okay, all right. So with that being said, you have a backdrop to how you started.
Oh,
yes, your backstory.
Can we share that story here on YouTube? Yeah, I just shared it with some people.
Share it with our guests. The guest room doesn't know we weren't in the waiting room.
Because I know we were in the waiting room to the guest room.
To the guest room.
No, but the bottom line is the question was, how did you learn sign language? And I always say I learned it in the back of a school bus.
Okay.
The young lady that I wanted to date when I was in college, I tried to ask her out on a date, and she said, well, if you want to date me, you'll have to go ride the school bus with me to pick kids up and go to church. And I'm like, how hard is that? So I got on the bus, and we're picking up the kids, and all of a sudden, I see a bunch of kids with their hands moving. No one's talking, and I'm like, why isn't anybody talking? I'm from Bronx, New York, so that was definitely a culture shock for me because when you're in South Bronx, you really don't see much of the outside world.
Right.
Anyway, so I saw all these hands moving, and I said, "What is this?" And Jenny, that's the girl, she said it's sign language.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, okay. So as I was talking to her, I see this one kid, mad face, angry, and he just, he caught my eye, just like Anquan catches your eye or Edward. So caught my eye, and I'm looking at this kid, and he sits in the back by himself. No one's talking to him. He's not talking to anybody. He sits there and looks out the window and just mad. I'm like, okay, what's wrong with him?
Right.
She's like, I don't know. Go find out. I'm like, okay. How do you say what's up? And she said, so I said, okay. So I go back there.
Sure, I guess again, Mrs. G.
Oh, how do you say what's up? What's up? That's how you say it. Go ahead. What's up? There you go. So, no, see, you had to sport it out and go, what's up?
Well,
you got to go like, what's up?
I'm not out.
Come on. What's up? There you go. See, you learned your first sentence.
Okay.
Anyway, so I get to the back of the bus and I go, what's up? And the kid looks at me and goes like this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And when he flipped me the bird, I understood why he didn't want to talk to anybody and why he was so mad. Because when he flipped the bird, you can see his hands were burned.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, oh, that got me right there.
Yeah, tough.
So, of course, the girl turned me down after church was over and all. So I went to, I don't know if you're familiar with Jimmy Swaggart Bible College.
Yes.
That's where I went to college. And I went to the library. And in the library, I asked her, how do you learn sign language? She says, I don't know, but there is a book that's called Joy of Signing. And I'm like, okay, well, point it to me. I took it out, looked at that book, and I saw the alphabet. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, that's how you're going to learn it first. So I started doing it, A, B, C, D, and I'm learning it. So for the whole week, I'm going to my classes doing A, B, C, and the professor's like, are we paying attention? I'm like, yes. Yes, that kind of thing.
Okay, I like that.
So I get on the following Wednesday, I get to the bus, and she's like, well, I thought I told you, Jenny, I didn't want to date you. And I said, that's fine. I'm not here for you. Get on the bus. I'm helping.
Right.
So I get on the bus, and we get to Louisiana School for the Deaf. That's where we picked up the kids. And there comes that kid again, and everybody's signing. I'm just not doing anything. I'm just looking, and I see the kid, but I didn't say anything to him. He just walks right by, same scowl on his face, and he goes and sits in that same corner. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk to this kid. So the bus is now going to church. So I go back there, and now all the kids are looking at, what is this dude trying to do, So I get back there, and I sit in the seat opposite, and I go like this. Hi, my name is Tito.
You do that to the camera.
Okay. I said, hi, my name is Tito. Wow. I want you teach me sign. And I looked at the kid looked at me, and he said, okay.
Wow.
So I learned sign language for 1 year in the back of a church bus, if you will. And that's how I got started. And that's been
something that you did
ago.
not know because of a turn down.
Exactly.
To be a turn up.
To be a turn up. Exactly.
And here it is, like you said in your intro, it's all about serving those kids.
Exactly. Yeah.
And therefore, God placed you right there.
And I didn't even realize
and you didn't even ask for it because you were going for one motive when He had another reason for you to be there.
And here I'm thinking, I don't want to be a children's pastor. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. But God put me in a place in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, away from all of my family in New York. And I love my home. But for some reason, God put me there.
Right.
To meet this one kid. And now it's been about 4 years ago where he hit me up on Facebook. And I didn't even know who it was, but you can see it's Josh Murphy. I'm like, Josh, you taught me sign. And so now it's like we've reconnected again. And it's really, really cool.
That's amazing, Mr. G, how that came about.
Yeah.
And how you taught yourself, because you were determined, I'm going to reach this kid some type of way.
Exactly.
Not knowing if you were going to even see the kid again,
Right.
But you're just like, okay, here it is. And now what's so engaging about this conversation, that the other kids are watching.
Yes.
The other kids are watching, and they want to see what kind of impact you're going to have on this particular one who sits in a silo by himself on the same road every day. And here it is, you had a breakthrough, just a little. But this how the breakthrough came on flipping the bird. That was one breakthrough.
Saying, exactly.
I want you to teach me, considering what you saw on the physical.
Yeah.
And maybe that was a cry for him to say, I want some help.
Well, the mere fact.
You said, I want you to teach me.
Right. The mere fact that I had to learn the English language growing up.
Yeah, that's right.
I was in second grade, and I'm that's all I knew is Spanish in my home. And I'm Puerto Rican. And my parents moved from Puerto Rico many years ago, and we were raised in New York. But in my home, that's all you heard was Spanish, Español, Español. And I had to learn the English language. So I know what it is to struggle with communication.
Yeah.
And I think it was about 4th, 5th grade that I finally I understand everything now because, I don't have to talk this way.
Yeah.
I am now talking this way.
Right.
So, but that's what I saw. When Josh flipped hit the bird at me, I overlooked it.
Right.
Because what he tried to do was offend me. But in turn, it caused me to learn the language that he was trying to speak. And as a result, that kid is an amazing kid,
That's amazing. You just never know the impact of your story. You never know the impact of even how God moves. We were just talking about Offset. I know the plans I have for you, you know? And we just never know that this right here was something that could have been negative turned into a positive.
Yeah.
And now a long-standing friendship that has evolved from that.
Well, while you're even talking about it, I'm even now thinking, yeah, you're right. Because the influence, it didn't just like influence Josh. It influenced Damien. And I'm thinking of Damien, I'm thinking of Michelle, I'm thinking of all these other deaf kids that I still have relation. As a matter of fact, I am so glad we are talking about this because one of the kids, his name is Ricardo, and Ricardo Appenzeller, and then Cami Gaspar. I don't know if they see me, but Cami and Ricardo. But I'm remembering them, and Ricardo became like my son.
Okay.
You know, and then Cami, they were sweethearts, and they actually got married.
Wow.
And I married them in sign language. So when you said the influence, it even till today, there's kids that reach out to me and they're like, Mr. This is my sign name. And they're like, Mr. G, what's up? I hadn't seen you in such a long time. And I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
Oh, I know you.
Right.
The influence still continues even till today. That's
and it
incredible.
goes back though, Mr. G, how we say authenticity is our identity.
Identity, yeah.
When you're who you are, it transpires. And you never know the impact of what it does. And here it is, two sweethearts linked up. And here it is, you're doing their marriage ceremony. You know,
crazy.
You're uniting them, not only through a bond of marriage, but you're uniting them through a bond of sign, bringing them together. Because what society don't understand is that that's a uniqueness in itself.
Yeah.
Because not everybody can do that, let alone can everybody comprehend that. And when you do it, let me tell you, when you do it, it's just like, the attention that it gets. It's just like, sometimes, you know, I've seen you in action where people will not even listen to the actual verbalization of people speaking. They're tuned in and say, how
you're talking about when I'm interpreting?
Yeah, when you interpret. As we say, interpretude.
No, as Gigi says, interpretuituding.
Yeah, interpretuting. You know, one of our students inside jokes. And when we look at it, and there is the amazement of that, you know, and then the level of it. Because there's levels to that, I'm sure.
Right.
There's levels to that. And to see that, I mean, your story is so profound. And you said something also that your parents came here from Puerto Rico.
Right. Yeah.
And here it is, you had to learn the English language.
Right. Yeah.
How was
PS
that?
110.
Yeah. How was that?
I guess I don't see it as a struggle.
Right.
But the struggle was more about I'm trying to understand, because I'm the type of person today that if I don't understand something, what I do is try to get a person to try to understand, because I will ask questions. I'll do whatever I can to understand what the person is trying to tell me.
Right.
So that's how I was when I was a child. My father has always taught me that. My mother, I always have this saying that my mother and father never told me how to live. They just lived and let me watch.
Right.
So the struggles that they went through, I watched them go through the struggles. And so that instilled within me the power to continue and to push through. I guess that's the word I'm looking for.
Push through.
The phrase I'm looking for is to push through. So that's been me. You know, I came from Cobb County schools and I came to Clayton County schools. And I'm gonna tell you, it's a huge culture shock.
Yeah.
And what I did in Cobb County schools, I'm doing in Clayton County schools, but the influence is even greater now because there's kids that we are touching that I couldn't do that in Cobb.
You're touching kids that were like, Josh.
Correct.
Yo, this has been so great. We're going to continue this conversation with Mr. G because he has much more to share with us. And he's going to also talk about some of the struggles that he's overcome while doing sign, as well as how he is now impacting children on a greater level and what he's doing with a new thing, what we call adaptive sports. You all stay tuned for the second part of The Guest Room. We'll talk to you soon with you. Hello, everyone. It's Dr. D here. Not only am I an online talk show podcast host, I am an author. As you know, I've written my very first book, Cage in a Cubicle Spiritual Lessons. But guess what? Your girl wrote another book. It's Time to Own Your Truth, a 31-day motivational. This book came about as of me sitting in a coaching class training. And there it stumbled upon me that I needed to own my truth and who I really am, my authentic self as to who I can really be and what I really am really about as of on a deeper level. And not only did this book come about through a training class, but it also came about through a supervisor who told me in the workplace to be intentional. And so that took me not only in the workplace, but it took me to think about what I needed to do as of what I wanted to do in life. And so therefore, this book came about. It's time, D, to own your truth. And this is, like I said, a 31-day motivational for anyone, and it's for 31 days to help you along the way that you may feel a little stumbled or a little stuck. This book will get you to where you need to be. So how you can purchase this book? Head over to Amazon and you can purchase the book there. I thank you in advance for your support and more so your purchase. Again, it's Dr. D with her second book, It's Time to Own Your Truth, a 31-day motivational. Thank you. Welcome back to the guest room with Dr. D. Well, we're so excited to have you here. You see my guest is up here. Oh, we're having fun in the guest room. And we're having a conversation with Mr. G, and he's sharing how his I say it found him. He didn't find it. It found him as a signing, and how turning one child around that was meant for something bad turned into something good, and now they have a relationship. And now this is transcended to Mr. G's story now of going on and teaching in our schools and being able to now take this to another level in sports. And so we're going to have a conversation with Mr. G about this right here. Mr. G, you talked about how, you're impacting just that one kid and how now it's transcended for you.
Not realizing how it influenced other kids.
You went from one district where it was not taking anything boxed in to another district where it's now more accepting.
Oh, yeah.
And then the impact that you have on children, boys and girls alike, and how you're teaching them not only just in sign, but you're teaching them basic life skills.
Yeah, yeah.
What has been the challenge with that, as of, just picking any child, just say for a male, for instance, we'll just go with a male child. What has been the greatest challenge with that?
The greatest challenge is...
Because you're like a mentor dad to these kids.
Well, a lot of kids, you say Mr. G all the time, but you and I both know a bunch of the kids, they call me Pops.
Pops, right.
And sometimes I want to correct them a little bit.
Right.
But then I think one of our conversations, you said no, because you're probably the only dad that they will ever have.
Right, right.
And that struck me when you said that. And I'm like, okay, then I need to keep my mouth shut and just let the kids be their authentic self. See what I'm saying?
Let it show.
And it happened after I read your book.
Right.
So, but so they call me Pops. So yes, I'm an educator, but I'm realizing even more today that it's just not about being the educator. It's about being what the child needs you to be.
Right.
Because they come from backgrounds that don't even have a parent, or the parent's non-existent. So I think the biggest challenge, surprisingly enough, is how other adults are not educated enough in this authenticity that I'm living in.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
So a lot of I'm not going to say all of them.
Right.
But a lot of adults think something else going on other than being the caretaker for these kids. And when I say caretaker, I mean all around: sports, money, educating the kids in their whole life. But I'm thinking of this one family that I took a kid home, and I said, okay, just show me where you study. Well, you're standing in it. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. So the dining room. And I said, okay, well, show me show me where you study, show me where you sleep, and the parents are all around, or the grandparents are all around. And they said, well, you're standing in it. You mean you sleep in a dining room? What?
That's their reality.
I didn't say that.
Right.
But in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, Jesus. What?
And that's their reality.
So I get it when the kids come to our schools and they act out the way that they act out. And a lot of it is because of what their frustrations they have at home. And a lot of teachers or other people, and I'm not saying all,
right,
they don't understand that. And they need to be educated a little bit more about the backgrounds of these kids before you hand out a judgment. That's what it is. So, and what these kids don't even realize is they are living their authentic self at the schools, because their authentic self is all that they know, which is their background.
Right.
So when I come in and I meet a kid and I start dealing having a relationship with these kids, I'm able to understand, because I did grow up with my parents, but there was a lot of struggles there too.
Right.
So,
and you speak from experience, and you can be able to assist. Everybody's reality is different.
Correct.
As we know, everybody has a different reality. Everybody has a different perspective on how things are. And I think what you said, well, it's not about thinking. What you said is something profound, is that people need to know before they judge. Correct.
They need to educate themselves. More on that student or the kids that they're dealing with.
Right.
And it doesn't only apply in schools. It applies in churches.
Yeah.
It applies in with people who work with DFACs.
Right.
Because people are quick to judge today.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on now. We're trying to help these kids graduate.
Yeah.
And you've seen some of the text messages. Mr. G, thank you so much, because if it wasn't for you, man, I get emotional.
Yeah, it's all right.
If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing all my studies.
Right.
If it wasn't for, and I'm not trying to.
Right.
No, that's not what this is about. This is about educating the people to understand that, hey, man, stop judging a kid like yesterday at the graduation.
Yeah.
Immediately I could feel some judging eyes when I brought these kids up to the front row.
Right.
They've never had that experience, Dr. Haney, until you said bring them up.
Yeah.
And they didn't. They were just like, wow.
I saw, I look in the children's eyes and I see how children who have never been exposed to nothing but their community.
Right.
And I look at that and I just want to be able to look at it and say, there's much more.
Yes.
Taking a break. Right back. Hello, everyone. It's Dr. D here. I want to let you in on something. Not only am I an online talk show podcast host, I am also an author. Yes, I am an author of my very first book, Cage in a Cubicle: Spiritual Lessons. This book talks about my journey in corporate America, as well as learning the lessons along the way. Sometimes you think that being caged in a cubicle is a bad thing, but it's actually protection. And so along the way, I wrote out my lessons in a journal, and it evolved into a dissertation when I was in school, yes, but it also evolved even more so in me writing this book. So I share with you my journey as I sat in a cage in a cubicle, spiritual lessons that came along with that. And I want you all to be able to share the experiences that I went through, and perhaps you may have gone through it, or perhaps you're going through it, but it will be some spiritual lessons that you all can learn from as well. How you can purchase this book? Head over to Amazon and you can purchase the book there. Again, I thank you in advance for your support and your purchase from your girl, Dr. D, with Cage in a Cubicle: Spiritual Lessons. Welcome back to the guest room. Y'all can take a quick break, but Mr. G and I have had many conversations. We can't wait to share it with you. And Mr. G was just sharing how we have to take our children and put them in an environment away from sometimes their reality. And it's not to say that we want to pull you out and make you forget. No, it's not that. It's just that children deserve better. Children deserve to see what's out there. If we're telling them that this is a world of so much opportunities, and why not expose them to the positive
That's the
opportunities
word.
that they could see. And so Mr. G not only has done that in his right as an educator, but aside from that in the church as well, and even within the community, but more so he has extended his sign language experiences. He is sharing his mentorship and guiding our youth through something that you may not even know about, but we have something called adaptive sports. And this has been a game changer, literally a game changer for our students, even our parents, and even the community has rallied around this effort in adaptive sports. I'm going to allow Mr. G to tell you a little bit about what is adaptive sports before you try to Google it. Mr. G, tell our guests about adaptive sports.
Well, adaptive sports is the wheelchair sports program for our district. And it's the governing board is the AASP. Don't ask me what that means, but ASP network. And you could probably send a little blurb out on that one. But it's basically all students who have some kind of disability. You don't have to be wheelchair bound. You could have disabilities such as scoliosis, asthma, and there's other medical. Even if you have flat feet, can you believe that?
Right.
Even if you have flat feet, you qualify to be part of the adapted sports program with Clayton County School District, and it is an amazing program. Now, I started off just as an interpreter for the deaf. So that's, if you're deaf or hard of hearing, you can also join in. But I started off as an interpreting 5-6 years ago, and I'm interpreting this sport. Now, I know a little bit about sports, football. I love football. And baseball, all these but the three major sports that we do is handball, basketball, which we made it to the state. We made second place. We came close to first place. We're going to do it this next year. And then football, we came in third, but we're going to do it this next year. But like I said, I came in as an interpreter, and there was an unfortunate situation that happened to where Mr. Christmas, he came into the locker room and says, "You are not the head coach." And I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do, but I'm going to do it.
Opportunity.
Okay, see, I see how you turn it around. All right. So, and so I, as coach, been responsible for making sure these kids and what they're doing on the team. And so, which is another added thing, because you're educated in education, life, and now sports.
Yeah.
So I count it an honor, but it is a great sports program. And again, it's not for kids who are, wheelchair bound. It's not only for kids who are wheelchair bound. And we do have we got our Garys, we got our Xaviers. Oh, Gary loves you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a sports program that includes kids who would not be able to play in a normal sport in high school. So it includes these kids, and I'm gonna tell you, it's a life changer for them, because they feel now that they're part of something greater than themselves. And that's what I tell the kids. You're part of something greater than yourself, because the influence, like Kyla Ray, the influence that you're going to have is going to be an incredible thing. Because now they're seeing it, because when the Clayton County School Board, when they expose the community to the adapted sports, now they got adults and other people saying, "Oh my God, good job in basketball, good job." And I'm telling you, their self-esteem is like this, but it pumps it up. So, and it's now, as a result, we got Forest Park High School. Those kids, those hard of hearing kids, now they want to join in. So,
see, Mr. G, you never know.
You're right.
From a school bus to a wheelchair,
to be an interpreter,
how all this is panning out.
Yeah.
And when you said, you named the variations that they have, as a requirement or whatever.
Right.
Some of these different abilities are not seen. And you
Can't see the flat feet.
You can't see flat feet.
You can't see scoliosis.
You can't see that, but you can see them doing it. Because let me tell you something, adaptive sports is not an easy sport.
No, it's not.
Because especially when you have a hearing impaired and you have an interpreter, you got to look over and look, and you got to use a wheelchair.
Right.
You got to handle a ball or whatever it is. All of that is moving around. And able-bodied people can't even walk and talk and use a telephone at the same time. So you can just imagine the challenges. But these children, if you see them in action, these children are doing it. They're killing the game. And we're just so appreciative of them. And he's right, when their self-esteem may be down here, but when you say, you got this, and when they see that,
they love it.
And when I heard one say, did you say to Mr. G, I hit the basket? That does a whole lot. And it's not about so much of him getting the credit. It's a matter of God using him to help build them up, just as he did with Josh flipping the bird. And here it is, Josh is flying high with the same bird he flipped, right? Yeah. And so we look at this now with our children and with the impact that you're doing through mentoring, the impact that you're doing through signing, which is your profession. Right. And professionally, and then how you're making an impact in school and how it started in the church, you know? And so you look at it and here it is coming full circle. And it has to be a humbling moment because children are always watching you.
Yep. Children, parents,
everybody. And just like you shared with me on one incident and just having a conversation when you went to one of the events that the children had, and one of the parents said, thank you. You never, you're the one my child talks about all the time. And you're like, oh, who is it? Who is it? You like him. And you never pretty much found out. But at the same time, it hit you later on like, oh.
Even at the recent graduation for Jonesboro.
You just never know.
I met a parent and the kid probably said, this is Mr. G, Mom. And she looks at me and she says, oh, you're Pops.
Okay.
I'm like, yes, ma'am. So, yeah, you're right.
You just never know how your authenticity, which is your identity, is just who you are. You said earlier, I'm just somebody who's just trying to serve children.
That's it.
You know, the humility in that, serving children. So everybody has their purpose. And maybe you didn't say, God, what is my purpose in life? He'll show it to you before you even know it.
And even, there are days that go by that I'm just like, God, what am I doing? God, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? And I constantly have to remind myself, you're in your purpose.
Yeah, you're walking.
You're already in it. And it's humbling. It really is. And I'm not trying to, exalt myself. I exalt the one who gave us. And I exalt my mom. I exalt my dad. Because I'm telling you, if it wasn't for my mom, I wouldn't be sitting right here talking to you right now. If it wasn't for my mom to tell my dad, you want to date me? You have to accept the Lord Jesus Christ into your heart. And my dad got saved and through all of that. And here we are.
Y'all, this has been a great guest room episode here. Did you hear Mr. G? All because of his mama. That's about the mama.
My queen.
Yes, his queen. Mr. G, tell the guests, and you just sign it as you're talking.
Okay.
Tell the guests, we're so excited that Mr. G came on board to the guest room. To remember to like, subscribe, share, and comment on this episode. We look forward to seeing you on the next guest room. Talk soon.